All right, welcome back. Let's continue learning more about morphing in After Effects. So in the previous lesson, we went over shapes, whether you use the pen tool or the shape tool, and how we can merge and morph different shapes into another using a simple path technique. Let's work with text. So I'm going to get the text tool, and just first let's make a solid. Control Y or Command Y. This is our background. And I'm going to lock this in place. Let's type in 2 words. So morph, and then click away, text. So we have 2 words. They don't have to be the same length. You could do that if you want. I'm going to keep them this way. Let's get a nicer color. White would be better. The font is also not doing it for me. Let's get this font. All right, looks better. Let's make them bold as well, so it looks kind of fun for this tutorial. All right, so we have 2 words. First thing we want to do is to get our Align tab and just center this text with the other one. If you're not seeing these, you may have had align layers to selection, so make sure it's on composition. All right, so we have our first text and we have our second text. You could keep maybe the second word and give it a different color. Let's add a weird color. Okay, or you could keep them the same color. So we want the first one to turn into a second one. The first word for us is morph, and then it's text. So usually you want to start with a longer word, because you could have more, you could have an easier time when you're copying the paths. And in our case, the morph is supposed to be the first word, so we have no problem with that. All right, so we do have text layers here, but this whole path morphing things work with shape layers. So simply go on both of your text, right click, create, we have to select them one by one, create shapes from text. Let's do the same thing for the other one. All right, we can go ahead and delete the other 2. And now let's hit U twice on the morph things, and now we're getting all the paths for each of the letters. So now each of these letters are separate. That was the M, this is the O, the inside of the O, and there's just a lot to work with. All right, so what we want to do is essentially the same thing as the first example. So let's go in a few frames. I can get rid of these guys. Let's zoom into our timeline. I'm gonna stay until here. So it's gonna be morph, and then at 1 second, we're going to change it into text. So let's go ahead and just type in path. Okay, so we only get the paths. Just go ahead and turn on all of these paths, the stopwatches. Then we have the edge, so they're all turned on. All right, and then we can move in a few frames and just do the same thing for this one. So let's write path. Okay. Now for this one, we want to select everything, all of the paths. We only have 4, Control C. Come to, we have to do this one by one actually. Get your first letter, T, and we're going to go to the first letter of the first word, morph. So T, copy the T path, come to morph, go to the M path, Control V. Make sure you are moving in a few frames. So now you can see our M turns into T. We have to change the color later. So we're doing this for all the other letters. So then it's E from text. When it comes to O from morph, Control V. Come down again, got the X, Control C. Coming down to R, Control V. And notice that we have 2 R's here, and this could happen. It's really common. what you can do is just paste this twice. So once on this R and another time on this R. All right, so we have that going on. And we also had the same issue for O. So I'm going to get the E again. Control C. Come down over here. Control V. So you could just paste it twice. Then we have P and then H. So we have, I believe, T right now. Control C. Control C. And then on P, we have two P's again. Control V on P. So now if I play this back, let me turn off the text layer for text. You can see everything turns into text, but we have one extra letter. So when at times like this, all you have to do is to just copy the last word into the first one. So for the second word, it was T. So we can just copy and paste the T keyframe onto H. So let's get T, which was the last letter of our text layer, go to H and hit V. So now PH both turn into text. All right, so we have this. It's all good. Let's delete text outlines. We don't need it. We only need morph outlines. Let's hit U and we can see all of our keyframe. There we go. All right, so we decided that we wanted text to be white and morph to be the cyan color. All you have to do is open up the morph outlines, go to contents, and we could just just type in color. All right, and you're getting the fill color for each one. So essentially what we want to do, let's hit U on it and see where the transition is happening. All right, so about here, I want it to turn white. So select that, type in color, turn on the keyframe for all the colors. There we go. And then move in forward to where the text appears and just change this to white. You can even grab the keyframe, the eyedropper tool, and make this white. Just sample the white on the screen. There we are. So now we get this. Okay, the first one here is white. Turn that into the cyan color, just sample it. So it's that and then turns to white. All right. Let's hit U on this, or just type in path. Now we have the same issue with the hit U. We have the same issue that we did in the beginning where our text is just drifting to the side. To fix that, we just simply need to hit P. First coming to where the second text is gone, come down to just write P. Want to make a keyframe at the beginning of this effect. So right when it decides to turn away, turn on the keyframe for position. Come to the end of where the text thing is finished and just simply move it to where you want. Then we have to reposition the keyframes. Okay, I think we moved text a little bit low. Hit Control R and you can just use a ruler for guidance. So I know that my text can start here. The center of my morph text is here too. Let's delete the second keyframe, come in forward, and simply just move this using the guidelines that we have now. All right, you can see it does not drift away, does not jump away. With an easy fix, we were able to do that. Hit F9, hit U, and also easy ease all of these keyframes. F9. So now it's just going to be a lot more smoother. And another thing that I forgot to mention for the previous example is that you can turn on motion blur. Just turn it on, and this will make it look more smooth. It kind of adds like an echo effect. You can see it's a lot more smooth compared to when we didn't have motion blur on. Basically, motion blur just blurs out those rough edges that appear when there's a motion like this happening. So turning them on is a great idea to just make things better. And another thing that you can do for the color, if you don't want to do this, let's type in color, turn off the keyframes completely so they stay the cyan color throughout. So we have this. It's just the same color throughout the entire animation. You can go ahead and add the fill preset, fill effect, onto your text layer. All right, and let's hit U on morph. See where all the transitions are happening. So in the beginning here, let's get the eyedropper tool and select this color, turn on the keyframe, and move in here and simply turn it white. That's if you don't want to go over those layers one by one, you can just do this. So we're going to have, play that again, we're going to have this effect. Okay, so we did the text thing, and this was another simple thing. You can add as many or as little text as you want. Let's go for a third text. You can write by, like we finished presenting. Let's Control A or Command A, look for a different color, let's make it blue. Let's bring this by layer right in the center. And we're going to right click, create shapes from text, delete the text layer itself, hit U twice on by, and we have 3 B's, and we just simply have to open this guy up as well. Let's expand our workspace, hit U on morph outlines, and now we just want to get the B path, select all the B paths. Just type in path here, we're getting the strokes path. Okay, that's better. Select all of the B paths, Control C, come down to M, Control V. Okay, and here, let's also add it onto O. And do it here. Make sure you paste it everywhere. So now M and O from morph turn into B. And we get the Y. We only have one Y here, so come down to Y. And let's also type in path here. So we only get the path. And then on R, let's add the Y keyframes. Let's also add it on P. And finally, we have the E. Copy that, the E from the by. And then we had the H here. Let's go ahead and get rid of by outlines. Bring back this timeline. Hit U on outlines and we can see exactly what we did. So morph, text, by. There we are. So we have this, and if you want to change the color, again, just go to fill, down here on fill, come to the third keyframe, which is the by, and let's get the blue color that we have over here, just get that. And also we have the same position problem, so you can come here and simply drag this guy right on your guidelines. So now we have 3 text coming in from just one original morph text. So that's how we morph text, multiple text, they morph together. In the next lesson, we're going to see how to combine images and shapes. So shapes into text, images into another image. So that will be in the next part of this lesson. I will see you guys there.